Okay, and then with my vanilla, I'm going to take these vanilla beans and cut them, down the center long ways, and chop them a few times, and put those into my container with the roses, and put the oil on top. My rose buds, you can use rose buds or rose petals, pink or red, it doesn't really matter, or if you find another color, cool. Or if you grow another color and then dry them out, even better. So I have pink rose buds. So just like maybe you've seen me do before, I'm going to kind of take a roller over them on a cutting board and just kind of roll them, and then take a flat sharp knife and beat them a little more, and then chop them up, and then put them in that same container with the vanilla. Put the oil over it, and put this has water, the pot has water in it. This is like a double boiler setup, so have the water on a low setting, so this is all warmed up nice and slowly over the course of 2 to 3 hours. So this is something that you have to do when you're going to be home and can watch the oven. The stovetop. And then the other way you could do it, which is perfectly fine, is just, put the herbs you want in a jar with the oil, and then let it sit for, 4 to 6 weeks on a sunny ledge, inside though, like just in a window. Oil doesn't have natural extraction properties, so it does need a little bit of heat. That's why doing it on the stovetop is one way to do it. It's the faster way to do it, but you can do it just over time with that very slow, warmed up heat of the sun through a window for 4 to 6 weeks. Sometimes I do a combination of both. I'll let it sit until I'm ready to put it in the pot, and then that way it takes a little bit less time once it's here, and it's ready from the scent. It'll really be giving off a lot of scent, and the color might change a little bit. It's not too dramatic, but you'll see when it's done. Okay, so I'm going to get started. Okay, I've got my cutting board out, and I'm going to put about a cup of roses in here. I got my co-host Bailey. Okay, so here we go. Here's a cup, and then these are going to come out. I washed my hands before doing this, by the way, so that's important. Or some people use gloves, but I like touching the herbs. It's important to me. Okay, and then my roller. And this actually releases some of the scent, and it breaks up the buds. You don't have to do this if you're just using flower petals, but with the buds, it's important to kind of get them ready to release their good scent and their beneficial properties. Okay, and then here's my, where is it? My big flat knife. Just going to kind of cut these up a little. The more surface area that the oil or the alcohol touches of the herb, the stronger final product you're going to have. So some people even use a powder, like a powdered form of the herb. And you can do that, but you're never going to get all the material out. You just have to, if that's fine with you and you don't mind, a little bit of the powdery herbs still in your extract or in your oil, then that's totally fine. That gets, gives you a very potent product. You can use coffee filter to, during the filtering process instead of just, your mesh strainer. But you're probably just never going to get it totally clear. Okay, so these are ready to go into the top of my double broiler. I'm going to do it this way. And these already smell so good. Rose and vanilla are both very romantic scents. Vanilla is known to be very aphrodisiac. Rose is as well. So they make a very nice, like, massage oil, or, a date night perfume. Highly recommend. Okay, so I'm going to do about 4 of these vanilla beans. If you've ever bought straight vanilla beans, they're very expensive. They're also potent, and therefore you just don't need a whole lot to get a nice scent, which is a good thing, because this was, oh gosh, I hate quoting numbers because I have a hard time remembering numbers, but it was a lot. It's kind of surprising how much vanilla beans cost. They're the second most expensive herb or spice after saffron by weight. So if you're wondering why your vanilla extract is always kind of expensive, that's why. Unless it's fake. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and turn on my heat to about medium high. So I put it on a 6 here, and add in my oils. Probably going to need more oil than this, but just get us started. And you want enough oil so that everything is saturated, and you've got, a good layer of oil on top. So you don't want things sticking through. You do need to stir it every once in a while. I use a wooden chopstick like this, and just make sure everything's down and in there, and getting the good stuff. Okay, so yeah, this is technically enough oil, but I'm going to put some more oil on top and then get started with the alcohol extracts. Okay, see you in a minute. Okay, this is going, it's got the oil, stirred it up a few times, and once the water starts boiling, because it will at some point, I'm going to turn it down even lower. You don't want boiling water. So actually, if I catch it before it starts to boil, then I'll turn it down to about a 3. Normally I hear it boiling and then I'm like, oh yeah, and then I turn it down. So now it's time for the alcohol-based base of a perfume. So I've got my clean glass reused, obviously, jar. And if you've watched my videos before, I'm not exactly one to measure. You just want a jar, and then you're going to fill it up about halfway with whatever herbs you're using, and then fill it like most of the way to the top with the alcohol. So since I don't really know how much like halfway is going to be for my roses, the vanilla, again, I'm just going to use about 4. And actually with this amount, I'll probably just use 3 vanilla beans and do the exact same thing. So it's mostly going to be roses that are going to take up the room. So what I'm going to do, gosh, I need to figure out a better way for seeing all this, is I'm just going to pour this in as much as I'm going to be using. And then I'll do, the rolling and the cutting that I did before with the oil. I always end up putting more herbs in than I probably should, but it's hard not to overzealous with the herbs. Okay, this is probably good. Look at all the roses I've used. This is from Mountain Rose Herbs, by the way. They're a great place to order herbs, essential oils, any of your DIY herbal needs. Yeah, not just DIY actually. Okay, so here we go. I just love the fact that this whole process is just full of good smells and beauty. It's just, I don't know, it's so lovely in so many ways. Maybe I will actually catch this on time. I'm going to go ahead and turn this down to a 4 because I can see little bubbles forming. And there we go. Releasing the scents. And then we're going to cut them up. So another good place to order bulk herbs and other products, essential oils, you know, witch hazel, your base oils like grapeseed, sweet almond oil, any of those things. Hydrosols is from Frontier, and they are a co-op, and they have Acacia in their line, and that's those essential oils that I always use, and they're the ones that you most likely are going to see at you know, Whole Foods or whatever natural foods product place that you go to. They're really accessible. They're a very good product, and that company is very sustainable. Like they use sustainable practices. A lot of multi-level marketing companies do not, and they kind of, well, there's just some issues with what they suggest people do with the essential oils, increasing their usage quite a lot. And the truth is that essential oils have an environmental impact far more than other natural products. So you really don't want to overuse essential oils. Not only that, but taking them internally is not really recommended. And a lot of the multi-level marketing companies do recommend, you know, just instead of like drinking, you know, grapefruit juice, for example, they might say, you know, just add a couple drops of essential oil of grapefruit to your water. And the essential oils are so potent. They can dry out mucous membranes. That's kind of the big reason you don't want to use a whole lot internally. And they can cause major problems and can even, you know, cause real sickness, injury, and in some cases death. So there's that. Acacia and Frontier, so their essential oils do not say, you know, can use internally, and that is not because they're less pure than other essential oils. That's a conscious decision. So you can kind of hear some wacky things sometimes from companies. I got these vanilla beans from Star West Botanicals. This is actually the first time I've ordered from them. But they're a well-known company, and these vanilla beans smell great. So I think this is going to be on my list of other places to buy from. And Mountain Rose Herbs, that's another company that does a lot of sustainable practices. You can look online and see more about them. They're based in Ashland, Oregon, or Eugene, Oregon. I think Eugene, Oregon. So they're kind of local, which I like, Pacific Northwest anyway. And yeah, they're just a really good company, trustworthy. And they have a lot of great recipes online if you follow their blog. So Here we go. I'm using this big old fat knife again because why not? That means I only have to wash one knife instead of two, I guess. Doing the exact same thing with cutting it, you know, long ways down the middle and then chopping it up into smaller pieces. Okay, so just mixing it up a little. Now I'm going to add my big cheap vodka. And obviously use whatever brand you want. Since this is mostly just going into my perfumes. I mean, I do, well, with the roses, I probably won't be using this in baking, although you can. I mean, you can actually add whatever you want to your vanilla extract. If you want like a cinnamon-y or a cardamom with your vanilla extract, then you can make that. And it'll be good and tasty. And rose is absolutely edible. You can make, you know, rose tea, and that's relaxing. It's good for headaches. Oh, my dog wants in. Hold on. Okay, so she's in. Rose. You can put rose petals on a salad. They're totally edible if they're not sprayed, obviously. Okay. So I'm going to need another little wooden stirrer to push those back down. And then I'm going to just cap it up. This is plastic. If you have a metal top, then you're going to want to put like a piece of wax paper over to make sure it doesn't rust. But since that's plastic, I don't need to. I just need to find a stirrer. Here we go. So you want all the herbs covered, and they expand a little when you rehydrate dried herbs, obviously. Smells like vodka. Whew. All right. In about 4 to 6 weeks, this will smell like roses and vanilla, which would be much nicer. Although with the vanilla, since it does take a little bit longer for the vanilla to really extract. Look, it kind of all went to the bottom there. I don't know why. I might need to let this sit for closer to 8 weeks. I'll just have to see how it goes. I've never actually made a vanilla extract with other herbs in it, so I will have to experiment, and you guys get to experiment with me. So I have to be sure to do this, you know, shake it up every day for the first week or so, and then after that it can be every other day. I'm going to put it in away from the sunlight, but somewhere that I see it, so I remember to shake it up. Otherwise, you know, I might find it in 2 years and be like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, out of heat and light is best when you're making an extract. Okay, so see you when my oil is ready. Don't forget to label it with the date. Kind of cool. Someone pointed out that front and back, it reads the same. But anyway, so I've got rose and vanilla in vodka on September 10th, 2019. By the way, I'm making a smaller amount of this alcohol base than the oil base, because with the oil perfumes, I actually make body oil perfumes. So I'm putting it all over my arms and my stomach, a little bit on my back, sometimes my legs. I do that morning and night. With the alcohol perfumes, I just make like a small amount at a time, and then just do my pulse points, because alcohol is not the best for your skin, and oil is really good for your skin, especially if you have naturally dry skin like I do. So if you're wondering why, there's different proportions going on here. That is why you do what works for you. If you know that you want like a big spray bottle of alcohol-based perfume, then you're probably going to want to start off with a bigger jar than this if you're going to, or this might work for one spray bottle, but if you want to experiment with different scents, then you're going to want more than this. Okay.